dot, right on the top of the hour, 7 p.m. The Philly Steak Show. Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl, Swift.
They are twerping. It's crazy. I mean, I love that we're here. I mean, and we were just here 5 years ago. So to be back at the Super Bowl with rebuilding a whole team, essentially starting over, it's crazy. You would have told me we'd be in the Super Bowl again 5 years later.
2 years after the whole Wentz, Doug Peterson thing kind of fell apart, or really fell apart. And Nick Sirianni, just like Doug Peterson, second year as the head coach, takes the team to the Super Bowl. And we have to play, another very, very good team. So, I know we have a lot to talk about with that. And on the last show, if anyone tuned in last week or go back and watch it, we didn't really talk much about the game. We talked a lot about our experience as Eagles fans. Today is all about the game. Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl. It's another football game for us. So let's rock.
I mean, that's the mindset that they're having. And, as we're getting in here on Wednesday, I mean, this is, they got all their media out. They're done. They did their media day stuff. They are locked in for the game now. It's just practice as usual, kind of getting into that routine. So, as we kind of get up to the, the game here, they're probably won't be hearing too much from the players. They're just going to be locked in. So, it was a full media week. They had some great segments on ESPN, FS1. That was, I don't know if you got to watch them all Monday or Tuesday night, but it was pretty cool seeing the Eagles media day and really cool conversation with, Mahomes and Hurts there to kind of start things off with the roundtable. So cool.
Yeah, I love seeing Hurts up there. I got really excited while you were talking and couldn't really focus because we got our first comment of the series. Good friend Nina off of Twitter. Big shout out for coming in, stopping in, popping a comment in. Yeah. And she always shows a lot of love on Twitter. Was one of my inspirations to making a show, coming back because we've been on it. Like we said, coming back though, she was one of the people that were like, you should make a YouTube or something because you talk a lot of good, you make the good videos for the timeline, talk a lot of good stuff on the timeline. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I just was hearing that a lot. And she was one of the first people to say it. So I was like, all right, cool. We got to get this back going because a lot of people don't know that we used to do this. And this is kind of how everything started with us. So it's like, we're back. We're going, and we're going back to our second Super Bowl as Eagles broadcasters. We were once also student class advisors for a community college. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
We have a lot of jobs. Bottom line is we wear a lot of hats. We've done a lot, and we've had robust backgrounds in this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and not many people knew that on Twitter, that we had this show back in the day. And so like a lot of things about us, things will come out, people will find out, wow, these guys do a lot of things. And this is just one of those things. So we're back and let's get back into the game, but appreciate you, Nina, for stopping and leaving a comment. You inspired us and, we had to bring this thing back. So like you were saying, seeing Jalen up on that stage with Pat Mahomes, just embracing all of media, all the media days. I mean, they talk to the players like every day. There used to be one specific day called Media Day. I don't know if it still exists or not, but it was always Tuesday leading up to the Super Bowl. And it kind of all meshed together. Like they were on the night before, they were on the Tuesday. Now I've seen press conferences going around today. So it's like they're talking to these guys every day. They just got to remain focused. And I think a lot of guys are saying, we're focused, we're locked in. So I think that this team they don't get rattled easily. And that's one big thing about this team, that we can really, rest our heads down at night and go to sleep peacefully knowing this team is working.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be super exciting. I mean, that, I think that the big thing leading into this game is kind of the disrespect that maybe some of the Eagles are getting, while they're, favored from a, Vegas money line perspective. They're actually, a lot of scrutiny, particularly, from the 49ers and just the national pundits in general, that, they're not winning the way that looks cool, where they're lighting up, throwing all these touchdowns. Whereas so far it's been, what I would say to those people is they haven't been watching a lot of Eagles football this year, where we beat you in a lot of different ways. And you're winning in the trenches, and that's football at its core. If you can't block people or stop the rush, you're not going to win. And that's what we do at the highest level. And is it the most fun? No, but to be, I mean, I love it, but I'm saying from a casual fan, they want to see Mahomes throwing 400 yards and all these touchdowns. They want to see Joe Burrow cooking off. They want to see Josh Allen drop back 50 times a game and not run the ball, and that's why they lost in the playoffs. But this is football.
Yeah,
winning in the line of scrimmage. And I know some of the old school guys, Brian Baldwinger, he's loving this style of football and things like that. And I love it. So I'm super excited for this game. Some great matchups, and we play our ball. You got to feel good about the Eagles' chances in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with what you were just saying, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I wanted to talk about this on this show specifically. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch a lot of the guys breaking things down, and I just been watching so much, about how the NFL is going with how it's like it's a copycat league, right? It's it's in cycles. And back in the day when we grew up, middle linebackers were much bigger. You had your Ray Lewis, your Brian Urlacher, you had your safeties that were hitters, Brian Dawkins. Nowadays, so what did teams start doing, right? They were like, okay, we'll just spread you out, make you play in space. So now linebackers are more like Kaiser White, a lean guy that can run sideline to sideline cover. The safeties are built like cornerbacks. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I mean, he's a willing tackler. I'm going to give him credit on that, no doubt.
Yeah.
But he is built to cover in space and play in space. So now what the Eagles did, they were like, okay, well, now everyone's like leaner. Even the linemen, even the D linemen, it's not run stuffers anymore. Even your Aaron Donald, your Fletcher Cox, those guys are pass rushing D tackles. Javon Hargrave is a pass rushing D tackle. They're sack guys. So what do the teams like the Eagles are doing? Well, okay, we're just going to get an athletic mammoth offensive line and use our quarterback as an extension of a run game and just run right through you because you can't block. Your guys are too small. And that's the cycle of the NFL now. You're going to see teams start to kind of try to emulate that kind of play style where you have a dynamic quarterback that can run and throw, and you're using kind of a power run game in addition to spreading teams out. It's like a hybrid offense. It's like gives you a little traditional. It also gives you a little bit of the modern. And that's kind of what the Eagles are so good at is they take these guys that are built to play in space and they make them play the run. And that's where a lot of teams cannot do it. And the 49ers are a team that can play like physical downhill. Yeah. And they did that, and they still got run on for 31 points. They couldn't score, so that was hurting them, obviously. That's the biggest difference is Pat Mahomes and what they can do. But the Chiefs don't really play like that. The Chiefs play right into the hands of a defense like the Eagles. They throw a lot of passes.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes is an alien. You can expect him to do that.
Yeah.
But the Eagles defense is built to stop what our modern day offenses are looking like. Spread out, throw the ball a lot, speed all over the field, receivers, tight ends can catch. But the Eagles built the defense to play that kind of style. A team the Eagles struggled with early this season, first game of the season, Detroit. They ran the ball. They continued to run the ball, and it worked against the Eagles. They were physical. They were able to bully our guys, kind of like we do to teams. The problem is no one has the team there's not many teams that have the offense the Eagles have with their quarterback and how physical they are in the run game.
Yeah.
Teams have one or the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's crazy how well-rounded the Eagles are, and that whole style of play to bully teams now works against these smaller defenses that are pretty much everyone has. Yeah. So that's going to be a crazy matchup. It's like Pat Mahomes against a defense that's built to stop fast track, kind of like throwing a lot offenses, getting pressure, good coverage DBs, good coverage linebackers. They can still stop the run a bit, but KC isn't really willing to run the ball. They don't run the ball well or willingly, and Andy Reid. So the difference in the Eagles and the Chiefs, that is the big thing to me is like, are you going to see this physical power run game win a Super Bowl and break this mold of everyone thinking that you have to throw the ball like Mahomes and Burrow and all them to win a Super Bowl? Like that is the big thing right now. That is the stuff I was watching, the one video I watched kind of brought this point up about the old linebackers and the safeties, how they were bigger. and that, how so I'm like, that's very true. Like, teams aren't built to stop what the Eagles have on offense.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, sorry, it's not working, but it's kind of like the Sixers. You compared Hurts and Embiid with
Bully ball.
Yeah, them trying to play bully ball with Embiid, getting a big man as their best player. And in the NBA, it's all like fast paced up and down the floor. Problem is, I just don't think the guys that are bigger can really stay healthy. But hey, you're seeing it with Denver with Nikola Jokic. So
yeah,
that's totally off track. But yeah, no, you get like I think the Eagles have something that's built that's just unstoppable because of like how the NFL is.
Yeah.
And that the Eagles even have a defense that would get beat by their offense because they're built to spread out and rush the passer. And the Eagles are decent against the run, like I said, but not that great. That's probably their one weakness is against the run. The teams just aren't willing to run against them. That's the thing. Like, they get leads and then like you can't really do anything. At least the teams we played camp. So it really is. I think it's that's the key matchup is that old school power offense mixed in with what we do on offense versus just Pat Mahomes, the modern day sling the ball 60 times and see if they win the game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think what was really interesting about, how they kind of played the 49ers is we did have a lot of like 5 down linemen dropping 6 guys where we, our D linemen are, they are built for pass rushing, but these guys, I mean, you got Jordan Davis, you got Sue, Linnell Joseph. Those guys are just in there clogging, taking up space. And, the 49ers, they couldn't really, outside of Purdy getting hurt, they couldn't really move the ball downfield. And I anticipate the Eagles are going to kind of put Slay and Bradbury out there for this game to really shut down and they're going to make them like, hey, you got to push the ball downfield. You're going to have to beat our best, and we're going to try and collapse this pocket. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And that kind of bleeds into like these position matchups are really intriguing. And I would say pretty favorable for the Eagles outside of, quarterback. Cause Mahomes is just not that I love our guy, but Mahomes is Mahomes and Kelsey. I think outside of that though, where else do the Chiefs really have advantage? I think advantage Eagles in a lot of other areas.
Well, what I look at is like our receivers against their corners or our D-line against their O-line. And those are the matchups that I look for. Yeah. To me, it doesn't really matter if they have a better tight end or, things like that. As long as our guy can beat their guy, like Travis Kelce, I'll tell you what, he's better than Goddard, but who has the tougher matchup? Who's gonna have a harder time getting open? Yeah. Travis Kelce's going against a way better defense with a way better pass rush. So, and hey, look, Travis Kelce, that's just an example, random example. Any game, any given time, anything can happen, especially with a player like that.
Yeah.
But you look at the matchups and you play the odds and you're thinking like, well, yeah, Goddard might be a little worse than Kelce, but I think Goddard has a better, matchup than Kelce. You know what I mean? So it's like same with Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes. Like, what is Pat Mahomes being asked to do? He's probably being asked to throw the ball a lot more than Jalen Hurts is realistically, and that's totally okay. That's just what that's what they ask him to do. That's what he needs to do to win. Our guy's going to, Jalen Hurts has to hand the ball off 20 times probably, freeze the linebackers, pull the ball a couple times, and then make key throws, and we probably win the game if they play a clean game. And look, Jalen Hurts can take over games with his arm. It might happen. The opposites, completely opposite might happen. We've seen that plenty of times this year where he just starts cooking and they're throwing downfield a lot. But if the matchup is like if teams are built lean to rush and have weak like speed linebackers and stuff like that, weak against the run, then just run it straight. Like that's what we've been doing. Like I don't really care, if one of their guys, like at the end of the day, like, yeah, obviously like you could, comparing position matchups has always been something people do. But at the end of the day, that's kind of how I'm seeing this is like, what are they asking of their team versus us? And is like that a good matchup for them pretty much? Honestly, Pat Mahomes could have a sick game, 250, 2 touchdowns, and still lose because like we just have like a better run game, control the clock. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like it really doesn't make a difference. But yeah, anything can happen. I mean, if Jalen Hurts going to make throws, I just think we are very favorable at pretty much anything. I mean, they have 2 rookie corners starting for them.
Yeah.
So you have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown out there going against 2 rookies. Like, you gotta like those odds, right? So if you can get some time, you get them in one-on-one situations, make some plays. You have matchups like we have favorable matchups everywhere. So to be honest, like it is going to take and there it's very capable. We've seen our team have bad games. We've seen other teams have great games. Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to have to pull off like a pretty big, like Pat Mahomes is going to have to be like Superman in the Super Bowl. I think if he has a bad game, if you said Pat Mahomes has a bad game, what do you think the result of the Super Bowl is? I'd be like Eagles win by like 2 scores.
Yeah, I would say like 31-10.
Play elite
31-14. Gotta give him a little credit, but
yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, no, I totally agree. The way I kind of see this matchup is, again, to like your point. The Eagles we've seen them really beat you in 2 different ways. If we can just run the ball, we're just gonna do that. But that softens up the defense, and then then we're hitting or they have to come up and really load the line because they can't stop the run. Then you're hitting big plays, or we start the game off with some big plays, and then we do that. I anticipate the Eagles are probably going to start with the run attack with this, and as they should. And not for nothing, again, we've kind of harped on it, in the past few shows, but Jalen Hurts is the system. He is the reason why the run game is so effective. Of course, the line, but he's a huge part of that. Right. And yes, it's not passing stats, but these RPOs and all these things, these play fakes, it's so much harder to defend. And he's a big reason for that. You saw what the run game looked like with Gardner Minshew in there. It's not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And the offense doesn't look the same. When when you flush Gardner out of the pocket, he's useless. He can't throw on the run like Jalen Hurts. He's not a threat when he's rolling out either side, especially his non-throwing side. Like, you're holding your breath hoping he's not throwing a pick if he's throwing out, trying to flip his hips and make a throw. Like, that's the difference. Jalen Hurts is a threat at quarterback. Like, the thing about it is, though, our matchups with all these offense, like, he doesn't even have to put it all on display to win. That's how great this team is. Like, he has in games like the Titans game, the Steelers game, he was dotting everything up, putting balls in double coverage. Like, he has elite accuracy, and we've needed him every game this year, no doubt about it. I mean, we have 1 loss with him under center this year, 16-1. He could be the first quarterback to go 17-1 other than Joe Montana and win a Super Bowl.
That's wild.
Isn't that insane?
Wild. That is insane. Yeah.
That is insane to me. So like, but the thing is, like, if we didn't have him, it's so much easier to defend our offense. Like, so much. I mean, you're still having to deal with receivers on the outside, but you have a little shrimp quarterback. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we had another starting level quarterback, then maybe it'd be okay. But you can't just take Jalen Hurts out and have Gardner Minshew as your quarterback. Like, Jalen Hurts makes our offense like insane. Like,
and
is that good? But the thing is, like, Pat Mahomes has to be like. He has to be the guy, and he doesn't have like the receivers that the Eagles have to throw to. Like, if you switched receivers, I'd be like, all right, they have Devontae Smith and AJ Brown with Pat Mahomes. That's crazy. But it's almost
that would not be. I would not be. I'd be nervous.
Oh, I'd be very nervous. Like, that's the thing. It's like you have Pat Mahomes on the other side, but like, pressure can beat a quarterback, and that, like, your D-backs have been great all year, and they're not playing anybody that's, like, insane. Like, it's going to take Pat Mahomes, like, making extra time. Like, too many of those plays will have to happen. I don't think he's going to drop back 50 times and just kill us. Like, if he does, then, geez, he just had one of those days, and, like, you're just like, wow, that would be heartbreaking to lose a Super Bowl that way. But it's hard to believe. Like, it's tough to hang in there, especially not even mentioning his foot. Say he was healthy. It's still tough. It's tough to hang back there when D linemen are all on you, and you don't look like your receivers can get open consistently. Like, and I think the Eagles have the matchups. Like, anything can happen any day, but these matchups are like, it's like, if Mahomes goes like into a different mode and like the D-backs start like second guessing stuff and he's like breaking out of tackles and he's making crazy throws, then like, wow. But like, is he really going to drop back like 50 times and just like beat the Eagles? I don't know, especially the way the Eagles are able to then play on the other side of the ball. And it just looks like a mismatch there too. It looks like the Eagles can do this against anyone. They run the ball. They Hurts is effective, throwing the ball, moving with the ball, anything you need him to do. And they just outmatch teams. And it's like, is a high-powered passing offense against that pass rush really going to be the answer? Like that's, I heard people say earlier, the Chiefs have to hope they get an early lead. And that's very true. That's what I think the Chiefs have to do to beat the Eagles. They have to put them in like a one-dimensional situation and make them like second guess themselves and stuff like that. Like mentally. But like they can I'm not saying the Eagles can't overcome it, but I think if the Eagles get out to a 10-0 lead, oh my goodness. I mean, it's football. Anything can happen, but the Eagles go up 2 scores early in the game, and you're looking at exactly what you want as Nick Sirianni. Okay, run the ball, wear them down. By the third and fourth quarter, teams just are like ready to break. Pat Mahomes is going to have to be unbelievable, and he absolutely can be, but it's going to I really am confident in the Eagles in this game. I really am.
No, likewise, and I agree. I think for the Chiefs to have a shot to win, Mahomes, I think he needs 300 yards, 3 touchdowns at least. Like he's gonna have to absolutely cook off. And of course, he's capable of that. He's the best quarterback in the league. We've talked about, like I've said, he's the best football player I've ever seen, and it's just like this guy. He can certainly do it, but again, they're really one dimensional. If Reed goes away from the run quickly to not keep us on balance, then which is very likely, especially if we get out, in front, then it's gonna be really hard for them to get ahead and sustain that kind of effort. Where if he can't, if he's just back in the pocket, it's gonna be tough. So, and with the Eagles, it's like I think the Eagles really need to do is what we've kind of said so far is not turn the ball over. Don't give them short fields and keep them in the pocket. Because Mahomes with these lesser receivers of what we're seeing is when those plays break down and he starts moving around in the pocket, and that can be him climbing the pocket. Oh my God, that touchdown pass he had against the Bengals where he climbed the pocket and just threw that dart on one foot. I was like, my jaw dropped. Yeah. But him like moving around in those kind of misdirections what the Chiefs do where they get him out in space. If we can keep him in the pocket, I think that's all the Eagles have to do. Keep him in the pocket, keep him contained. You have your corners on the outside. They're going to do their thing. They're going to stop their guys. Yeah. And we just run the ball. Don't turn it over. I think the Eagles have this. Mahomes is going to have to play lights out for them to win.
And it's the guy to do it too. It's
for sure.
That's why it's so crazy, because it's like, that like he's not going to be like in there just playing like crap. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
If they forced him to have a terrible game, that's just like, man, like I would be memorable forever. Like to shut Mahomes down in the Super Bowl would be crazy. But
it just seems we beat Brady, but Brady had his best statistical performance in any Super Bowl.
Yeah, ever, dude. Crazy. Mahomes hasn't really been statistically great in Super Bowls if you look at it, and it's like it's crazy. But to me, it doesn't matter. It's how you play in situations and like all that, and that's really what it's going to come down to. And it really is on our D-back. Like we have so many DBs that can match up against so many different kinds of players. Like that just gives me a lot of confidence in the whole defense. Just having our secondary back, the Eagles having a healthy Avonte Maddox, C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been back and been just right back into the fold of things. And it's like, man, like these guys, it's like they've been playing together forever, but CJ's new, Bradbury's new. So, Marcus Epps' first year starting, and they're just back there like playing like they've been playing for years. It's insane. Like when that secondary is healthy, they match up really well with really anybody. And the Chiefs, they have Travis Kelce, but that's the other matchups just don't. It doesn't like they're all pros. So you know what I mean? Anyone can get open against anyone, any given play, whatever. But if they had like a real elite threat wide receiver, I'd be like, all right. But even then, it's like this team has played against elite threat wide receivers. They've played against everybody, and the Eagles have been the best team all season long. So. It really is going to take that kind of quarterback. It just feels like that's all that, like anything less than Pat Mahomes, like teams don't really have much of a chance. Like we've lost a few games, sure, but we haven't really like who's like, you know what I mean? Who's really like looked way better than the Eagles? No one at all. And
no, I mean, and the Saints game was kind of just a clunker, but the Cowboys and the Commanders game, we turned the ball over 4 times in both those games.
Yeah, and the two Gardner,
and you barely lose, the game, especially one with Gardner Minshew in Dallas, and it's just not turn the ball over. They're really hard to beat.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, and that's that big thing about Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like the turnover margin, that's like really the biggest thing you look at. Like if you win the turnover battle, if you force 2 takeaways and your offense keeps the ball, you're probably winning the game. Both teams are so good that like you can't give either team an advantage.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for the Eagles is forcing some turnovers. Like just show they're the better team. They've done it all year. They've forced turnovers. They've gotten sacks. They've scored. They've run the ball. They passed the ball. Everything. It's the Super Bowl. Put everything on display. They've been the best team in the league. Doesn't matter that Pat Mahomes is on the other side. Jalen Hurts plays against the defense. He's gonna do his thing. The receivers are gonna do their thing. Miles Sanders is in the Super Bowl, having a great. He's having his best year. They're all having their best year, and they're in the Super Bowl. So it's time to put it all out there, put it all on display. And I'm getting going to be getting emotional watching the game because this team was so special, and we've only seen this 3 times, right, in our lives. Now this is our 3rd, and this is only the 4th time the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl, and 3 have been in our lives. So, it's and this team was special, and every time you make it to the Super Bowl, the team's not the same after that. The guys are going to leave. This team right here would be. I would love it if these guys got a ring together. It'd be sick.
Yeah, no, this is
a lot of them are back next year, so it's pretty.
Contrary to popular belief, most of these guys are going to be back next year. So
the main pieces are going to be back. So.
Yeah. All right. Prediction for the game.
I said it yesterday. I was on a stream with Mitch and the guys, Randy and my guy Further AM, and they asked the same question. I said 27-20, and I'm going to stick with that. I say 27-20 Eagles. They just do it. They do enough. I feel like the score will be. I feel like the Eagles will be in control of the game pretty well. Maybe there might be some unexpected things happening, but I don't know. I mean, that just seems too right down the middle, so it's probably not going to happen. But I just think the Eagles are going to show they're the better team. Just be a little bit ahead through step of the way, and it's probably just because that's what I want to happen. So I'm calm the whole game. But I think the Eagles are going to show they're the better team in the end and just get it done by any means. And I think they get the job done. I think Pat comes up a little short, and the guys send off with a ring to anyone who might be retiring. Please don't, but. Maybe BG, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, any of those guys.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. I hope none of those guys actually do retire, but that is it. 27-20 Eagles. Let's run it back next year. Come on.
Yeah, no, I think we'll run it back next year. I got 34-24 Eagles in this one. I think that they I think they kind of control, they can run the ball, control the clock. I think Mahomes is gonna, he's gonna drop back a lot. He's gonna hit some passes because it's him, but keep them in check, make them go the whole field, get a turnover, and protect the ball. I'm loving it.
Yeah, dude. Next time we hop on the stream next Tuesday, it's gonna be after the Super Bowl. We're either we're gonna be Super Bowl champs or. Anything can happen. So I'm hoping we are. I'm not going to speak any negativity in, but we will have the result of the game. Let's just put it that way, and we can talk about it then. Hopefully it's very good. And I am hoping for a parade next week as well. So,
yeah. Well, I booked the flight. I'm flying back for it, so I'm ready.
Yep. And we'll do a lot. We probably won't go live from the thing, but we'll definitely get some footage from it, and we'll do it the right way. But man, I'm really just first things first, let's focus on the win. Thanks for tuning in. Anyone who's still there, anyone who watches after, like, comment, subscribe. You all know the deal on that. We just want to talk birds. That's it. Hit me up on Twitter, Tom Stakes. Steve's on Twitter as well.
Yeah, Steve May. I'll start putting my handle in there.
He'll put his handle in there. It's, he talks a little birds, but it is tiring, and we all got to do what we got to do. I got to take a break from it. That's what we do, baby. We talk birds. It's all we do in the group chats and on the stream. So appreciate you guys again for watching, and we will see you next week with the result of the game.
Yep. Getting this dub. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby.
Fly, Eagles, fly.